Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun.
Nick Collier here once again. We got another project online here, and this one's, I don't know, it's going to be an interesting project, I think. You can never tell. So basically what this guy wants to do is make a sleeve that's split in half that will clamp onto another a piece of 2-inch bar stock. So in reality what he wants is this sleeve this big. And we're gonna have to put bolts in from this direction, and this material is 1/4 inch, which is not going to be quite thick enough to do that. So we're going to have to come in, and I think this is what I want to do. Well, let's come in a little closer first. Right there. I'm going to take a piece of 1/2-inch bar stock, come in here, and cut a radius around that bar stock, and then cut it off, of course, and then slide it down in so that it makes contact with the inside diameter, and then weld that in. So I'll have one here and one over here and two on the far end, and then weld those in, and probably go ahead and cut a seat for the bolt, put the bolt head in, drill the hole, thread it, and put the bolt in, and then go ahead, well, no, don't put the bolt in, but drill it and thread it, and then go ahead and come in and cut this whole thing in half. Now, if you could just see my hand, cut the whole thing in half, right down the center on both sides. Then I'll have the bolt to hold it together, and then we come in and put our sleeve in the center, because remember it's going to fit on a 2-inch shaft, and then we build some end caps for that and weld everything in. It shouldn't be too much of an effort, as I always say, and it's never the case. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and we're going to make 4 of these halves, kind of half circle on one end of it. So alright, well, before we move forward, we've got to find out which rotary table we're going to use. So I'm just going to come in and strike an arc on the back side of that, and that's going to be pretty good. Let's see how. Yeah, that's going to work. So I'll take it over to the saw and saw that off, and then we'll see if we can set this up on the rotary table. Alright, well, we got my little mini 6-inch rotary table, but we have to go out to 6.5 inches, which means that we're going to kind of be out there just a little bit further than I want to be. So I think we're going to have to go with the big rotary table. Okay, so what we're going to do is put this on top of a piece of aluminum and get it in somewhat close to where we want to go. Something like that. Now what we have to do is come up with some hold downs, and that might be a little difficult. I'm sure we can come up with a single hold down, but I'm not sure that's gonna take care of the problem. And that hold down's not gonna reach across. Well, okay. Okay, it's a bit of an oddball setup. We've got a bridge here and then our hold down clamp, and that should hold it in place. We're going to have to kind of be a little gentle with this, but that shouldn't be a problem. Let's see what we can do. And we're going to slow everything down. Maybe not that slow. I think before we do anything, let's go ahead and go in and see if we can saw some of this metal away rather than grind on it all day long. I'm thinking. Well, all right, well, we sawed off the corners there. Now we just basically go straight down, because we are already at 6.5 inches, and we just keep coming around. I'm wondering if we can just do the whole thing. Just take it slow and easy. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's take it over and see what it's going to look like. Looks like it's going to fit nicely. Now, once we cut it in half, there'll be plenty of material to run a bolt down in through here. So that's good. We got 3 more of these to make, and we'll be back once we made them. All right, we've got our bosses cut, and they're gonna be in there, and I think what I'm gonna do is drop them back about 1/2 or 3/4 of an inch, so they'll be kind of back in there. And what we have to do first is we have to get the scale off of the interior of this, so that when we weld it, we've got a really good spot to weld to. And then of course we need to get this thing warm again. So I think first we're gonna find center, and we'll go across, and then we'll know where to drop down. Let me get some Dicum. And somewhere in that general area. And anywhere in here will do. Damn it. For some reason it didn't set up. Only in the very spot where I wanted to put the mark. Alright, that's going to pretty much get us where we want to be. We're at 3/4. Yes, we are. So now we'll remark it. I made this one just a little bit longer so that, because at some point I'm going to put it in the lathe and clean up this outside edge. Alright, so now we come in and we clamp these in place. And I think we've got what we want. Let me go get a couple of clamps. Okay, it all looks good. Now, this thing is freezing cold, so what we're going to do is take it over and put it on the wood stove for a little while, and we will be back. Alright, everything's nice and warmed up. We're going to throw a tack on that. Maybe even a 1/2 inch long bead or something. Okay, I think it all looks pretty good. Let's see if we can get a shot inside of there without tangling up all the cords. I'd say that looks pretty good. We got ourselves a beginning. Okay, well, we got our bosses welded in, and from this point there's so many directions I could go, but and one of those directions is I need to make a V-block to hang on to that, and you know, I don't think I'm going to do that right now. What I want to do right now is I want to build the end caps for these for this you know, whatever this is, this sleeve. So we're going to go over to the pattern torch table. We're going to cut out a couple of circles. The circles are going to be, well, the outside diameter is 7, the inside diameter is under 6.5. But probably what I'm going to be looking for is a 7-inch circle. Hopefully I've got one. Let's go on over to the pattern torch. All right, well, hanging up there, I've got a bunch of different patterns, and looks like this might be something that is not, well, 6.5. But the problem is that the follower is a 1/4 inch, so that's not going to work, but close. And I'm not seeing anything else that's even close to that. That's 8 inches. So I think we're going to have to make one. All right, well, it is what it is. Well, this is my lucky day. I walked over there and I have about 6 rings like this. And guess what the inside measurement is? 7 inches. Isn't that just the coolest? So I can adapt to that, and we're going to come down to about 6 3/4, which is just about perfect, because I'm going to want to machine that and then drill a hole. So we've got it. Now all we need to do is put a something for it to hold on to so that it can sit on the ring. And as you noticed up here, mostly what I use is a washer, which works just fine. All right, we're going to go find a washer and we're going to weld it on, and we'll be back to this bench. Well, soon. I did a bunch of test cuts and got the speed and the temperature right, and I cut these and they cut beautifully, and I forgot to turn the camera on. So I apologize for that, but we've got them cut, so we'll just go on. And what we're gonna do here is, let's back up to the anvil. There it is. We're gonna flip this over because there is a bit of dross in the back here, as you can see, and I'm hoping if I just bang on it a bit. There's the problem with working thin material. The pattern torch works great from about a 1/4 inch up to about 2 inches. I mean, perfect cuts. But anything smaller and it has trouble. So it's not going to be a big deal, I hope. We're going to get a grinder and just grind that bead off and see if it loosens it up. All right, fingers crossed. Well, the first one kind of came in and it re-welded itself. But the second one seems like it's a lot better. Let's see if we can just kind of tap it out. I don't think so. So what I'm going to go do is let's I'm thinking I could just torch out, get it in close, and it'll loosen up. The fact that it's a big plate is a bit of a problem. All right, well, we got them out finally. It might have been easier just to saw that out and end up with edges. I've got to machine that perimeter anyhow. So, hey, but we're there. So let's go over to the lathe. We're going to drill some holes. We're going to cut the perimeter and see how things go. Oh, we may as well give it a try. Which one's cooler? This one. Okay, we're going to punch a little hole in the center of that and then come back in with a hole saw and saw that sucker out. And I'm using a hole saw because to drill that out, such thin material, it just doesn't work. Because there's no way for the drill bit to find its own center before it actually punches through, and so you end up having a hole way off. Okay, and a hole saw has to go very slow. In fact, even slower than that. All right, there's one. And I know I've got number 2 somewhere. But for the moment, let's just look and see how this thing's gonna sit. And it's gonna sit just about perfect. We may want to make it just a little bit bigger because I'm going to weld that and I don't want it to get in the way of this the interior part of the sleeve. So yeah, we'll just bore it out just a tad. And let me find that other disc. It's somewhere. All right, here it is. And we're going to get it in the best part of this whole thing because there's some little goober marks right there. Is that going to be right? Let's do it the other way so that the rough edge goes to the inside. And make sure that we're not. Yeah, and then it grabs it nicely. All right, so let's see how square up we are. Looks pretty good. All right, let's get a boring bar in there and take it up just a little bit more and see what we can come up with. So this is what I'm seeing. This needs to come back at least another 1/8 of an inch. Let's give that a try and see what it looks like. I think that's going to be pretty good. Let's deburr. All right, we're doing pretty good here. What else do we have? Oh, yeah. We've got to take this down. We're going to take our 3-jaw, the reverse jaws, and put the other jaws back in. All right, let's work the perimeter of this. Well, I know this thing's gonna just chew up my lathe bit. So I think what I'm gonna do is come in with the grinder first and just kiss it. All right. All right, well, we got this sucker here. We've got our disc made. Slide a disc in there. That looks pretty good. We've got our sleeves. That's gonna go there. I think it might go on the inside, but I'm not sure. So we got all that. Now what we need to do is come in to these bosses and drill and tap a hole so that we can hold the 2 halves together when we cut them. So we're going to go up on the mill and have a look at that.